What's cracking? As you can see, I'm back in the home office this week, and I'm going to do things a little bit differently this week, how we usually start the show, because you see this handsome feller next to me who is in a vehicle right now. He pulled over safely to the side of the road. Let me be clear on that. This gentleman here, we're honored to have him part of the HMG family. He's probably one of the hardest working SOBs I know. He's all over the place, and he's a guy that I got a ton of respect for, because you look at what he does for his podcasting side of things. I don't know how anybody could try to keep up with this guy. I mean, the guy is a machine. So I'm going to bring my friend on, Rich LaMonica. Rich, how you doing, brother?
Doing great, Adam. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to hang out with you on the weekly update. It's awesome to listen to you. Now I'm actually to be on this show with you. It's awesome.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Well, listen, I want to dive into this real quick. I know you're on the road. You military veteran, you're a speaker, an author. You're also a podcast host of the awesome MisFitNAtion show. But tell the listeners and the viewers just a little bit more about yourself.
Awesome. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Jersey City, New Jersey, the fourth of four children. So they saved the best for last, as usual. We grew up in a railroad apartment. And so for those of you who don't know, a railroad apartment has no hallways between rooms, so it's just bedroom. So you walk through everyone's bedroom. There's not a lot of privacy, very small apartment, and you put three boys in one room, so you learn to either be tough or get beat up. So being the youngest, I got beat up a lot and learned to be tough at the same time. My whole life I wanted to join the Army. To get started when I was real little, basically. I think sitting on the couch with my dad watching our 13-inch TV, either watching something in the Middle East or maybe the end of Vietnam in the 70s, to maybe I want to do that. It looks like something that'd be fun and cool. You know, as a kid, you don't look at it as the horror of war. You look at it, oh, this dude's playing G.I. Joe, or we're doing stuff like that. So it's going to be something cool I want to do. So I was stuck in my head from a young age. So I went through schooling, played sports in the grammar school, high school. And I did the bare minimum in high school just to get out of high school so I can join the Army. At the end of junior year, I went to the recruiter and I was all ready to go. But I was too young, because when my birthday is, I was a year ahead of most people. So my dad would have to sign off a waiver for me to join. So I came home and said, Dad, you got to sign this waiver for me to join the Army. And he said, oh, no, enough of us have joined the Army. You're going to college. I said, whoa, I haven't prepared for college. He said, well, figure it out. That's great. So instead of just hanging out my senior year like all my buddies did, I had to take all the freshman, sophomore, junior level sciences and maths to catch up with everybody so I could get all the prerequisites to get to college. I took the SAT. Somehow I passed, and I went to St. Peter's College in Jersey City for a couple of years against my own will, but I didn't really want to be in college. And, you know, most kids, if they don't want to be in college, they're not going to excel at college when they go. And that was me. I was just barely making it by. I was playing college football, so I had something to do. I played 2 years of college football, and so I can get hit and hit people and have an extracurricular activity. And then finally I said, no, this is enough. And I signed up. I said, Dad, I know you don't want to do this, but I have to do it. And I joined the Army, started at Fort Stewart. And, of course, like you know, in the military, you get to bounce around a lot. So Stewart to Korea, Kentucky, Fort Campbell, Kentucky the first time, then to Fort Riley, Alabama, Korea again, back at Fort Campbell, and finished in Aberdeen, Maryland. In between there, 4 combat deployments. Met a lot of people around the world and exotic places, of course. Retired in 2015 from the Army. I'll pause there if you have any questions.
No, that's absolutely amazing. What can you say what your MOS was?
My MOS was Chemical Operations Specialist. So I started as a 54 Bravo. It changed to 74 Delta. But for the majority of my career, I did not do it. I was with either the infantry or the engineers or some kind of combat arms MOS unit, where I kind of blended into what they did and trying to learn their jobs. It wasn't until towards the end of my career where I got to actually do chemical operations.
Nice. Nice. So when you got out of the military, then you're an author and you're a podcast host. What prompted you to write a book?
So the book that just came out, Out of the Darkness, I started writing that while I was like in theater. When I was bored, I would write things on a computer, and then I'd erase it. Like most authors, they'd write, erase, write, erase, write, erase. And I keep notes in my notebooks, but I never came to fruition that I would be a writer. I thought I was just doing it to pass the time. So probably during COVID, I wrote a book called The 13-Step Guide to Success, and that was based off of Facebook posts. Each month I would write a post and say, hey, you made it to this level of Jumanji. Congratulations. Let's see what we can do this month as we face these challenges. Because, every month they came up with this new cool challenge we had to get through to make it to live or whatever. So every month I'd make a funny thing. And then at December, I made 13 steps to succeed in life. And my daughter's like, looks at me, she said, when I finished the book, she was my. So we got a little closer with her editing my book for 2 months and telling me how awesome I was and wasn't. And so that book came out in December of 21. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to put this on the wall. I have to write the book that I've started way before this one. I have to finish it. So I put it on my goal board at the end of 22 to finish by the end of 23. And so September 11th of 23, I actually published the second book just out of the sheer grit of doing it and wanting to finish something and being a hard head and saying, I'm not going to fail at something. I'm going to do it. And of course, in that same time, I started the podcast. I started the podcast at about the same time the first book was published. So now we're at just recorded this week. I recorded episode 391. That was with Catherine Martinez, U.S. Navy veteran. Awesome guest. If any of the listeners on here want a great guest, she has an amazing story, and she's doing amazing stuff for the veteran community right now.
And everybody that's watching or listening to this right now, whether it's you're on the live, you got some of you on different platforms here, or you watch this later on throughout the weekend, the MisFitNation, look that up, the MisFitNation podcast show. You can look it up. It's on all the social media platforms, or you can go to heroesmediagroup.com and check it out there as well. So Rich, you're talking about the show, and you do a couple of episodes a week. You're one of the shows that does several episodes a week. You usually do a live, and then you got several recordings you're like 2 years ahead already, I think, with your
So yeah, we do 3 lives a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Yeah.
And I started something about 3 weeks ago. I brought in a new crew to do my Tuesday show. It's 2 guys that were on part of the behind the scenes crew, and I call them the Tuesday crew.
Yeah.
So it's my brother Steve and my buddy Jake, EOD veteran from the Army. They do the Tuesday crew now, and I just produced that one. So it gives me a little break, but I'm still helping them out. So Sunday and Thursday is usually I'm the face of the nation on those days. And then we, like you said, we do produce 2 recorded ones on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. This week, Catherine Lewis, and I forget the second one that came out this week.
Nice. And again, guys, everybody, you can check that out. Rich, where can people find you other than just a podcast? If somebody's listening or watching and they want to reach out to you, work with you, even interview you on one of their podcasts, how can they reach you?
They can go to our website, themisfitnation.com. There's a contact button on there, and we usually get back to people within a pretty quick turnaround, or they can email me at richlamonica101@gmail.com.
Perfect. Rich, I know you're on the road and you got to get going, brother. So we'll let you run and do your thing, but I appreciate you taking some time and jumping on this morning with us.
Adam, this is awesome. Thanks. Next time, hopefully I won't be sent on the road on a short notice mission, and I'll be able to sit in my studio and chat with you, and we do the whole show with you.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. You be safe, and we'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Oh, Rich, everybody. Yeah, I love Rich. Such a solid dude. So I appreciate it. And like I said, I wanted to have him on because he was on the road, and it was important that we had him on this morning. So backing up. So how we usually start the show. So last week, as you know, we were down. The network was down in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona for the NCAA Final Four, men's Final Four. And what an amazing experience. This was my third Final Four that I had not participated in, but covered. And I found out something interesting that I thought was pretty interesting was the three largest Final Fours as far as attendance go. 2014, Dallas, Texas. There was 79,000 plus in attendance. In 2017 was in Phoenix, and we actually covered that one, and there were 76,000 plus. And then this past weekend, there were 74,000 plus. HMG's been at the three largest Final Four attendance in history. And I thought that was pretty cool. Gabe, what's up, brother? Appreciate you jumping on. So it was great weekend. Was down there for a week. And it's kind of weird how they have it laid out when they do it in Arizona. So like Glendale, if you guys aren't familiar with Phoenix metro area, Glendale is about 12 miles west where the stadium is, and then they do stuff downtown area. So like the Fan Fest, where they have all these breakout sessions and whatnot. Fan Fest was downtown. I walked around that, and I'll eventually put some pictures up when I get a chance. I'm still going through the 973 pictures that we took over the weekend. But walked around Fan Fest. It was pretty cool. They got all the activities for the kids. They had a lot of former NBA players that came in. Isaiah Thomas, Christian Laettner, just to name a few. Damon Stoudemire was another one. And then the Friday morning, they did the 2024 Hall of Fame class. And this was really, really cool on a personal level for me because I got to meet Vince Carter. Growing up watching Vince play basketball and stuff like that was awesome. But they had Bo Ryan, who was the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers. He's got over 800 plus wins as a head coach. And I watched Bo Ryan coach the Badgers in 2014 in Dallas, Texas, when Wisconsin was in the Final Four. So on a personal level, it was really, really cool. But got to meet everybody in the 2024 Hall of Fame class was super cool. The Final Four, the games themselves were just amazing, and we had we were sitting right behind the baskets in the media section. You walk around, and it's such a different experience walking out of the courts and getting to interview some of the players in the locker rooms and during the press conference and stuff like that. It was kind of funny. Funny story. I'm standing down in the hallway down by the team rooms, and this door comes. I'm standing kind of in front of a door, just a little bit, talking to one of the security guys, and the door flies open, and it's Shaquille O'Neal. Kind of bumps into me. And it was the man is larger in person than he is on TV or in any pictures. He's just a big dude. Him and his son, I believe it was his youngest son that were there. I was looking to go to Purdue, I think. So that was pretty cool. And then after the championship game, UConn was on the court. They were doing the pictures and the trophy ceremony. I bump into Grant Hill. And so I thought that was pretty cool too. So it's such a great experience. I want to give a huge thank you to the NCAA for allowing us to continue to cover college basketball. So thank you guys for that. Let's jump into some of the news highlight. I don't want to say highlights. That's bad because this first one's not good. Just things that I saw in the news this week. The first one is the juice is gone. The juice is gone. O.J. Simpson dead at 76. Now, when I looked this up yesterday, they didn't have several organizations, news outlets didn't have a cause of death. This morning, I saw a few linking it to cancer of sort, but that's not for sure. But O.J. Simpson dead at 76. He was a O.J. Simpson was the former NFL player that was accused of killing his ex-wife and her lover back in I think it was the early 90s, mid 90s. Yeah, gone at 76. He was also a movie star, did some prison time as well, but the juice is gone, everybody. Sad. Next up, we got the WEF. You guys know I love this, talking about this organization. World Economic Forum calls for censorship of negativity. The World Economic Forum called for all governments to censor negativity online space. According to the organization, removing negative content on social media will help young people's happiness. Can you believe this? Is this really happening? Governments, media organizations, tech companies, and civil society must collaborate to create a multi-layered defense against the spread of false information. And this is according to the WEF. This article came out of American Faith. Empowering internet users with media information literacy, ensuring that the independence and valuability of news organizations, and levering technology to distinguish between credible journalism and disinformation. I can't. It's kind of ironic. Let's be honest. Like, seriously, this is what we're going. This is what we're talking about. The WEF, mind you, this is an organization that nobody voted in for, right? So, what are you guys' thoughts on this? And I want to post this one because I think the WEF calls for censorship. I think that is just absolutely hysterical. If anybody should be censored, it should be them. What are you guys' thoughts on this? We're starting to get a couple more people on here. IG, what? So yeah, David. Good morning, brother. I owe you a phone call. I was thinking about you the other day. Hope all is well. Oh. We're going to finish this one with the WEF here. According to the WEF, the World Economic Forum, rebuilding trust in the age of disinformation requires a focus on fostering media literacy, reinforcing the independence and sustainability of quality news organizations, and embracing the openness to innovation and responsible adoption of AI, among other measures. What? I think if anybody needs to be censored, it's the WEF and some of those other organizations that are trying to pull everybody's strings. My opinion. Look it up. WEF wants censorship of negativity. My question about this article is who determines it's negative or not? And they're talking about, because really what it said in the thing, it was talking about disinformation. It mentioned negativity two times, but it mentioned disinformation several times. So what's really the focus? I don't know. That's fishy to me. That's fishy to me. Censoring negativity. Okay. Moving on. What happened this week? What else happened this week? Who saw the solar eclipse? Who was in an area where they could see the solar eclipse? Celebrities use solar eclipse to promote climate activism. I can't make this up. Actor William Shatner used the total solar eclipse this week to bring up climate change, asking, what's the point of talking about space when human life is being threatened? All right, that's a valid point. Why are we talking about space? He was talking about, in this particular article, he was talking about we're focused on going back out to the moon, exploring more into outer space when we should be focused on what can we do to help with climate change. And if you look at next week, I'm going to be talking about some more on climate change and some other things that are some policies that are coming down the pipeline. But it's I don't know. It's interesting. A solar eclipse happened. Did some things happen? I'm sure they did. I don't know. I didn't see the solar eclipse. I was in Arizona, and I didn't see it out there. Mr. Williams, how are you, sir? Ryan, I'm going to put yours up here. Ryan makes a good point. Yes. Ryan's got a great point here. Here's the thing with AI, and Ryan Williams, he and we'll get into his show here in a little bit when I do the shows. He's host of The Other Side of the Firewall. You learn so much when it comes to I've learned a lot when it comes to AI and anything that has to do with like just computers and technology in general. When I have a question, I'm usually sourcing Ryan's stuff that he's either written or have talked about on his shows. AI is a big problem. AI is a huge problem. I everybody's talking about AI. We're in an era of how do what's true and what's not true. And Ryan said, AI is not going to tell it one from the other. Look at all of the things that AI is doing right now. I mean, they can clone your voice. That you can write a paper. You can. I mean, it's. Do I think all AI is bad? No, I think there's a need for it in some areas. My biggest problem with AI and the robotics like taking over was the job side of it. We have enough people in the world that are jobless, and then we're giving those jobs to robots and stuff. And I get there's certain jobs that robots should do, but they're a job. Why not just hire people? I get it. It's a money thing, and that's a whole nother show. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today, but Ryan brings up a good point. What do we do with AI and censoring? And here's the biggest problem. In all honesty, it's where this is coming from the World Economic Forum. They're the ones that are saying that we need to be doing X, Y, and Z. Question for all of you. Who put the World Economic Forum in charge? Can somebody answer? This is a legitimate question that I'm asking you people. Who put the World Economic Forum in charge? I would like an answer to that. I'm going to move on in the meantime. We had Rich on a little bit earlier, Rich LaMonica. We did the show a little bit differently this morning because Rich had a last minute phone call and he's on the road. So we brought Rich on. He talked about him. You can go to MisFitNation. He's the host of the MisFitNation Podcast. Great gentleman. Was honored to have him on. But let's dive into the shows this week. First up, we got the Decision Hour. Yours truly. I love it. This week, finding God's mission in the military life. This week, I had Beth Runkle on, and she was actually on IG. I saw her over there a little bit ago. Today, we're diving into an incredible journey of faith, service, and the military spouse experience with Beth Runkle. Beth is a devoted military wife of nearly 27 years and has weathered the storms of loneliness, frequent moves, and a unique challenge that come with loving someone in uniform. This is, if you're in the military, a lot of military spouses that deal with this. It's a different life, and you gotta have a strong stomach for it. And this was such a great conversation. Beth talked about how she transformed her initial resentment toward the military into a powerful mission of faith and community building alongside her husband, She embraced the calling to support and guide other military couples through the same trials that they faced. After realizing the significant role her faith played in reshaping her life and marriage, Beth committed to leading small group ministries every time they moved to a different, every time they PCS to a different base. Great story, such a great story, and one that, especially if you're in the military and you're married, this is definitely one you want to listen to. It's called The Decision Hour. Check it out. Next up, Every Man's Odyssey. This is a newer show to the platform. And Cole this week talks about part 2, gives his personal story and his journey through flight school, struggles that he faced with mental health, the pursuit of a career in law enforcement, some of the challenges that he had faced being separated from his wife and his children, financial stuff, and then the physical and emotional pain of a career-ending injury, unfortunately. And he peels back the layers, kind of like an onion. And we appreciate him for it. It was a good episode this week. Every Man's Odyssey. Check it out. Next up, the Shay Sparks Show. That's going to be coming up later on this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Homefront Sit Rep Podcast. This one, another newer show to the platform. This week, Mr. Carter served in the United States Army as a multi-channel transmission systems operator. Was stationed in Germany, deployed in 2003 with 3rd ID and the 101st Airborne, providing communications for infantry to call for backup, finishing his duty with 4th ID out of Fort Hood in 2005. Nice. Let's see here. He was stationed. Oh, I hit that twice. Yep. So check this out. This week's Homefront Sit Rep Podcast. He talks a little bit about what Mr. Carter is doing now that he has transitioned out of the military. Homefront Sit Rep Podcast. Check it out. Also, real quick with Homefront Sit Rep, if you go to their show page, you'll also find once a month. And David was on here a little bit ago. We also do a Tip of the Spear, which is a show, a bunch of veterans get together once a month and do kind of like a round table event. Oh, excuse me. All right, next up, we got, what do we got? Joel Evans Show. This week, Joel dives deep in on the conversation about CBD and the importance of using the whole hemp product, not just the extract, with the good folks over at Magoo. Magoo has been found to be effective in helping with anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. Very interesting episode this week. You could check it out. It's called The Joel Evans Show. Again, folks, you can find all of the shows by simply going to heroesmediagroup.com. Click on their page, and you can see they're all the shows are on all the other your favorite podcast platforms as well. Mark Peterson, we're going to be talking about you here in just a minute. Stand by. In fact, we're going to talk about Mark right now. Mark Peterson, Patriot Pride. This week, I'm talking about the People's Patriot Project. That's who's up next. What do we got here? There we go. People's Patriot Project. Now, People's Patriot Project, they do a couple of shows throughout the week. This particular one that we're talking about is We Got Your 6 at 6. They also have We P3 Radio as well. Coming up this weekend, and their series, We Got Your 6 at 6, every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This week they have Lieutenant Colonel retired Jason Pike, author. Great, he's got a great book out. Love talking with Jason. We learned about his 31 years in service that explains a comedy of mistakes and misfortunes as he explains his book, A Soldier Against All Odds. And believe me, when you hear his story, you see why. And then I almost had a heart attack when I saw their next guest this evening for Sunday night. Our good friend, Stephen Cochran, and you guys that have followed me for years, Stephen and I are really good friends. Stephen is based out of Nashville, a country music artist. He's got a lot of things going on right now. So make sure you tune in this Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. The People's Patriot Project. Appreciate what you guys do, Mark. Keep it up the good work. All right, what do we got next? The Hero Academy. This week with host Super Dave. This week, J.L. Hancock is the pen name of Jim Harvey, who was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's worked as a martial arts instructor, a lifeguard, foreign missionary, and a river guide. Quite the background. I love this. In 2002, he enlisted in the Navy and spent 20 years as a cryptologist. He currently works as a technology consultant. He's the president of Ethos Innovation. And during his time in the military, he tailored away at dark corners of the government intelligence communities, learned 2 Asian languages, and eventually conducted over 100 combat operations with special operation forces in Iraq, Afghanistan, the Philippines, and a slew of other places that we can't mention. During the last 6 years of his career, he worked as a senior enlisted advisor over future concepts and innovations for the Navy Special Operations community. This is a very interesting man, and it was a really cool episode to listen to. I'm talking about the Hero Academy with host Super Dave. Check it out. Next up, we got Beyond the Rut. This week, drawing from his experience in business leadership and personal development, John offers practical wisdom and insights that transcend traditional mentorship. He emphasizes the importance of authentic relationships and prioritizing personal fulfillment over financial gain. I really like this because you're focusing on the relationships with your clients and your people as opposed to just looking at them as money. This was a great episode, Beyond the Rut. Check it out. Again, you can check out all the shows. Go to heroesmediagroup.com. Next up, our gal Deanna over at Label Free Podcast. This week, Jonathan Hunt Glassman. We're talking about with the CEO of Or Health, a healthcare entrepreneur revolutionizing the approach to alcohol disorder treatment. Jonathan shares his personal journey of struggling with alcohol misuse and how it led him to create Or Health, offering access to a daily pill to help individuals drink less. Jonathan discusses the difference between a labeled being labeled as an alcoholic and having alcohol as a disorder, emphasizing the importance of not letting labels hinder positive change. Great episode this week, Label Free Podcast. All right. Ryan was on here a little bit earlier. Other side of the firewall, little different in their wrap up. They do a show every day, Monday through Friday. Today's show came out at midnight. Instead of the weekly wrap up, they did. He had his lovely wife, Mrs. Williams, on the show. Talked a little bit about what she brings to the show, and breaking away from the typical cybersecurity discussions. They dive into the interplay of professional growth and personal support in their lives. Great seeing these two. This was a great episode this morning. I got to listen to Ryan. Well done. Tell the missus that we all say hello. Other side of the firewall. Check it out. All right. What do we got next? Because Bikers Matter podcast with our man Vegas. This week, he has Lisa Weyer, the executive director of All Kids Bike. I love this. Lisa shares her background growing up in Sturgis, South Dakota, and her journey into the motorcycle community. In Sturgis, I would think that's not a hard thing to do, getting into the motorcycle community, that having the rally up there. This is pretty cool. She discusses her experience organizing the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally and the impact it has on the state of South Dakota. Lisa explains the mission of All Kids Bike, which aims to teach children how to ride a bike in kindergarten PE classes, especially in unserved communities. This is really cool. She highlights the program's success, reaching over, wait for it, 130,000 kids annually, and the positive reactions that this organization gets from the community, the teachers, and the children. This was a great episode because bikers matter. I love it. Next up, we got Environmentally Speaking. This week, they're diving into something that happened at the Washington State Bridge in Providence, Rhode Island. They tackle the issue of natural occurring arsenic in the soil. Do you guys know this? This happens. This happens everywhere. Pay close attention. And its potential health risks and the complexities of cleaning it up. Through their candid conversation and expert insight, they shed light on environmental changes posed by infrastructure projects and regular considerations at play in regards to cleaning up the arsenic and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting this week. That is Environmentally Speaking. Next up, we have the MSEC Podcast, Military Child Education Coalition. It's for all of our military families. Navigating change as a military child. Delaney, a remarkable military child, shares her experience attending 8 different schools, including 3 middle schools in 3 years. Adapting to consistent change shaped her perspective while realizing everyone faces challenges during transition. She also shares her insights from the student-to-student program, highlighting its impact supporting new students. If you, I say this every week, guys, if you're in the military, whether you're active duty, guard, reserve, and you have children at home that are still in school, follow Military Child Education Coalition. Go to militarychild.org. They have just a slew of resources. And I love this week's episode because I like it when they talk to the kids, because we always hear about the service member, what the service member has done. You don't always hear about, and every now and then you'll hear about the spouse. You start hearing more and more about the spouse. Very rare do you hear about what the kids go through and whatnot. This week really highlights it. And I think this was a special episode. So check it out. It's the MSEC Podcast. Next up, the Arms Room Show every Monday, 2 p.m. Arizona Mountain Standard Time. They will release a new episode. This week, they're discussing carrying an extra magazine and staging ammo. Should you or should you not? What do you guys think the answer is to this? This was pretty interesting. This is the OG show of HMG, and they're discussing carrying an extra magazine and staging ammo. Should you or should you not carry an extra magazine or stage ammo? Get the answer listening to this week's episode. Go to the Arms Room. Check it out. Next up, we got Chasing Happiness. Why every setback is a setup for a comeback. I love this. Ryan offers an unfiltered look into a week filled of professional hurdles and professional growth for realtors. Some of the topics and key things this week: a real estate roller coaster, the power of persistence, communication as a key, mindset shift, and teamwork and dedication. This is a great show. Ryan does a great job on this. Check it out. It's Chasing Happiness. And then last but not least for this week, and stand by because I got a surprise for you guys. Rise Up, Voices from the Front Lines, from our friends over at Battle to Be. They got a new episode. I believe it's launching this afternoon. So check it out. Rise Up, Voices from the Front Line. Again, go check out all the shows that we have over at heroesmediagroup.com. I want to go back a little bit, talk a little bit about last weekend and the Final Four, if you guys missed it. So like I said, last weekend, it was my third Final Four as the network covering it. The very first one I covered was under our old brand, and it was in 2014, the largest NCAA attendance, 79,000, Dallas, Texas. It was crazy. 2017, there was 76,000 people, and that was in Phoenix, and we were there for that. And then this past weekend, 74,000 plus, and we were also courtside for that. It was great meeting and networking. We got 2 new shows and then 1 potential show that we're still talking with. So potentially 3 new shows just from going down to Phoenix last weekend. We've got a new writer that's coming on board with us from the Cronkite School. He's a journalism major right now at Arizona State Walter Cronkite School, and he's going to be starting with us next month. So we're excited about that as well. But one of the things that I didn't mention at the beginning, and I'm hoping that these people are watching, I got to see some, when you go on these trips, and the fact that I spent so many years, a lot of time, 25 plus years of my life in Arizona, and I still commute kind of back and forth, but I got to see some people that I haven't seen in a long time. And I want to give a special shout out to these people. My buddy Kenneth Stiles, he's him and his wife Kimberly drove down from Prescott, Arizona to have lunch with me. And I haven't seen Ken in, God, it must have been 21 years since I had seen him. And I remember coming to the unit when I first joined the Guard. He just this larger than life fella. It was so great to see him. And it just meant the world to me that him and his wife drove, 2 hours to come see me. So that was awesome. So Ken, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. My friend Shirley Hughes, we served together on the task force, took some time to come see me. She's a very busy travel schedule and whatnot, so it was great seeing her as well. So Shirley, thank you. If you see this, and then I got to give a huge shout out to a couple of guys. One, my friend Chuck Coleman. I hadn't seen Chuck in since I think 2011, 2012. And worked a corporate job together. Chuck was as an Air Force veteran, and he's since retired, and got to break bread with him for a little bit with another mutual friend of ours, Thomas Howard, aka Tommy. Tommy was my first boss at a corporate job that I got in 2005, and he's a Marine Corps veteran. Funny as hell, old school, just an all around lovable guy. He's funny, he's lovable, and he was the first person that really kind of believed in me and instilled that I could do things. And both Chuck and Tommy were there in a part of my life where I was going through a lot of hardship. I was going through divorce, I was going through custody battles, and just a slew of other bad decisions that I was making at the time. And these guys loved me either way. They were there for me. They were always there for me and watching out for me. And, Tommy knew I was coming down to cover the Final Four, and I wasn't just the plan was just going to Uber everywhere. And he calls me up and he says, "Nah, man, no, come get the car. You can use the car for a week." He's like, "I got an extra car. Just come get the car for a week." I was like, "No, I couldn't do that." And he's like, "Bro, your family," and that means a lot to me. And I want to give a special thanks to Tommy for always having my back and watching out. And I hadn't seen Tommy in quite a few years, but I say all of that and I share that with you guys because there's people in your life that you might not always see or talk to a lot, but go check on them. And because you'd be surprised at the effect that you have. I don't think I'm anybody special. You guys have heard me say that before. But to some people, I am, and that's pretty cool. And I say that also because all of you that watch this, you're special to me. I appreciate you guys coming on and seeing this ugly mug every week, chit-chatting and whatnot. We're growing. Heroes Media Group is growing, and we're doing some positive things, and it's starting to be seen more and more, and that's because of you guys. So thank you for all that. And with that said, I want to thank our sponsors real quick. Please go check out our sponsors. My Tax Fella. Tax season, like, pretty much almost done. And if you guys are needing help with it, there's no one better. They're not going to, you're not going to find anybody that treats you better than Anthony and his crew over at MyTaxFella. Go to mytaxfella.com. Forget genetics, my buddy Barry. If you're an outdoorsman and you want deer coming into your woods, go to forgetgenetics.com. Place an order. Use promo code HMG. He's going to give you 10% off at checkout. Alibi Tattoo. If you need some ink, or maybe you need to get rid of an old tattoo. They do it all. Go to alibitattoo.com. Check them out. Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. All you riders out there, it was AZ Bike Week last week. And we got more shows coming up later this year. Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. If you were on a bike, make sure you got these guys on speed dial. Got a whole brewing home studio. They've helped me out with our home studio here. It helped me update it. We got some more updates coming soon with that. Stay tuned for that. The Freedom People, go check them out. Get your trust. Get a trust, land trust. Get out of the matrix. Set up a trust. Trust me, you'll thank me for it later. Go to thefreedompeople.org. Jim Neary's Bait and Tackle. Jim, I know you're watching this. I'm coming down there hopefully Sunday or Monday. I got to get down there. Got to start fishing. I'm behind already. Whoo. And Warriors on the Water LTD, great nonprofit organization that takes veterans and first responders out fishing. So go check out those organizations if you would. Also, can't forget our sister company, HMG Beverage. Got some new stuff coming out. I'm excited. We're just waiting on the labels. Fingers crossed. We're going to get them in the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to put some stuff on sale. So stay tuned for that as well. But go check them out, hmgcoffee.com. Folks, that's all the time that I have this weekend. It's great to be back in the home studio. I'm blessed for all of you. Thank you all. Put the phones down. Get off the internet, go outside this weekend. Hopefully the weather's nice. Enjoy the weekend. If you guys need anything, DM us. Let me know what you want to talk about, or if there's something that we can help you with, that's what we're here for. We want to help. So God bless you. God bless America. We'll see you guys next week.